They rerouted their stormwater drain straight into my property, so I turned their flood problem into their worst nightmare. It started after a solid week of heavy rain. Normally, my lower pasture drained just fine. The soil there had handled storms for decades without issue, but this time, something was different. Overnight, the field transformed into a swamp. Mud, trash, and oily runoff collected in ankle-deep puddles, killing the grass where my horses usually grazed. Even worse, the stagnant water pressed against the side of my barn, threatening to seep inside. I knew this wasn't just weather. Something had changed. So I grabbed my boots and walked the fence line. That's when I saw it. A brand new concrete storm drain pipe sticking straight through. The HOA's manicured retaining wall. And guess where it ended? Right on my property. They'd built themselves a subdivision retention pond, and instead of spending the money to manage their water properly, they decided to dump it directly onto my land. No notice, no permission, no easement, nothing. I called the HOA's property manager, thinking maybe this was some kind of mistake, but he admitted it instantly, almost smug. "Yeah, that's standard," he said. "The water has to go somewhere, and your pasture is the lowest elevation. It's natural drainage." Natural? Nothing about this was natural. A concrete pipe blasting thousands of gallons into my field wasn't some innocent trickle, but he wasn't budging, so I tried the county. Their response? The same bureaucratic nonsense as always. File a complaint, wait for an inspection, maybe someone will review it in a few months. Meanwhile, my land was drowning, and my horses were losing their grazing space. That's when I decided, fine, if they were going to dump their problem on me, I was going to give it right back. I bought 4 truckloads of heavy clay-filled dirt. With the help of my neighbor's backhoe, I built a solid berm just inside my fence line, a wall 2 feet high that redirected every drop of water away from my barn. Then, at the exact spot where their pipe poked through, I laid down a thick sheet of plastic liner and stacked cinder blocks in a tight half circle, sealing the opening completely shut. Now their precious pond had no outlet. 2 days later, another storm rolled in. This time, instead of drowning my pasture, the water had nowhere to go, except back into their subdivision. From my porch, I stood warm and dry as their pond swelled like an overfilled bathtub. The water rose over their walking trail, lapped against their carefully groomed tennis courts, and finally spilled into the basements of 3 shiny new homes. The HOA board was furious. They stormed onto my property, shouting, demanding I remove the obstruction, but I calmly pointed to my fence, my deed, and the photos I'd taken of their illegal pipe. "You put your water on my land." I just put my land back in its place. They tried to threaten me with lawsuits, but when the county inspector finally came, he saw the pipe had been installed without permits. That was the nail in the coffin. The HOA had to pay for emergency pumps to save their flooded homes, then shell out nearly 6 figures to reroute their drainage system legally, away from me and back into their own property. Today my pasture is